Now, joining us on Breakfast Extra to assess the claim of the governor, the efforts delivered in his first 5 years in office as well, is Mr. Gboyega Akoshile. He's a special assistant to the governor on media. Many thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, many residences, from what you see, the vox pop that was prepared there by our correspondent Niyi Omoniyi, very mixed reaction, so to speak. Now, which is to the infrastructure improvements, under the governorship of Mr. Sanwo-Olu himself. But can you highlight the key achievements in this sector and address the concerns of those who feel more could have been done under his administration?
Thank you very much, and good morning to the viewers. When you say key achievements of the governor, I wonder, what I will, describe as key, because every of the achievements of Mr. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is key. Everything he has done is key, the paramount to the living standards of Lagosians. Do you want to talk about traffic management and transportation? Do you want to talk about health and the environment? Do you want to talk in terms of entertainment or education and technology, making Lagos a 21st century economy, entertainment and arts? And do you want to talk about security and good governance? And in the second term, do you want to talk about inclusion? That's the plus. Do you want to talk about gender equality and all of that? So every area that he promised, from his first term to the second term, every area is key. And we don't have the time. But for the constraints of time, I will try and limit myself to maybe 1, 2, 3 areas, because all the areas that we have touched in the last 5 years are key areas. Do you remember, Nigerians or people, human beings generally, we're quick to forget. Do you remember what COVID did to us in the world? Do you want to talk about that? How Mr. Governor, tackled the COVID head-on? How he rescued not just Lagos, how he rescued Nigeria. In fact, some, neighboring countries around us, like Ghana and the rest of them, curtailing the spread of COVID-19 in this, region. So that's a monumental achievement. It's soft because it is not brick and mortar, right? It's not something you can touch. It's not something you can even see, but it's a huge achievement, and it shot us up in the global rankings. And that's why Lagos State, apart from that, with other health initiatives of the governor and the current administration, Lagos State is occupying an unviable space within the African rankings of 10 best health facilities in Africa. So what that tells us is that we're not competing with states. Obviously, we're not competing with any states in Nigeria. We are competing with countries in Africa. And this, a lot of people don't take, note of. When they're comparing Lagos, we don't compare Lagos with states. They compare Lagos with, countries. Compare us with South Africa, they compare us with Morocco, they compare us with Egypt. And those ones are countries. People forget. When people compare our rail lines, our rail project, they compare us with Ethiopia. Whereas Ethiopia is a national sovereign country, whereas we are a state among 36 states. So that tells you something. It tells you that Lagos is not here to joke. Now, when we came on board, Lagos, was around 30-something billion in terms of, IGR. Check what it is now. With several, with several projects, with several initiatives, the governor has, upped the ante, right? Now, let's look at, transportation and traffic management, which is the first agenda of Governor Sanwo-Olu. He promised that it was going to get rid, I would take your mind back to 1919, pre-1919. You couldn't go to Apapa. People have forgotten. You know, people forget when they are in their comfort zones. People have forgotten that pre-1919, 2019, sorry.
Yes.
You could not go from here to Apapa. You can't say that you have a friend or you have a brother or sister living in Apapa and you just want to take your vehicle and go there. You know that you are going to sleep on the road. You know, you'll probably get there on Tuesday. You understand? Today is Sunday. But today, the governor promised, the governor promised that he was going to get rid of that gridlock. Today, he has done it.
I want to testify to that. Just a second.
yeah.
Just a second, Judith. I want to testify to that because I live in Festac.
Good.
And I get there in 30 minutes every single day, get here in 25 when I'm coming back from work. So fantastic. You also spoke about health.
Yeah.
Great. People have more access to health. But I still can't walk the streets of Oshodi. I can't use my phone while I'm walking the streets of Oshodi. There's one thing that everybody seems to want to not touch when it comes to Lagos State and the situation of Lagos State, and it's the situation of the menace of touts. So what has the governor done when it comes to the area boy situation in Lagos? Previous administrations didn't touch it, and that seems to be the one thing that most people want out of Lagos State. Please, can you tell us what the administration's plans are?
I'll tell you very, straightforward manner. Lagos has been adjudged, and it remains the safest, state in Nigeria. Now, are there areas that we need to improve on? Yes, there are, in terms of, security and social amenities, especially with these social miscreants that you talk about. Now, who are these touts? Who are these people that we call touts? They are, they are more or less, without sounding controversial, they're more or less people that come from outside of Lagos State, trooping every day. Check the record. The record is there. Over 1,000 of them come every day and they don't return. They come into Lagos every day. They don't have where to sleep. They don't know anybody. The moment they manage to finish maybe primary school somewhere, I don't want to mention the zone or any zone of the country, their London is Lagos. They just head up to Lagos and, they constitute a lot of menace. So Lagos is a victim of its own development because Lagos seems to be the only state that is doing well in the country. So we continue to attract more people to the state. And it's a lot of pressure. But then, we are not giving excuse.
Yeah.
The governor that I serve under, the governor that I work with, does not, in fact, he hates excuses.
Well, I wasn't about to say
He's
that
doing
it was
a
an
lot.
excuse.
He spends a lot of resources, to ensure that you and I, are safe. And that's why, how many years ago did you hear of major, robbery attacks in Lagos? Let's be honest. I mean, you are reporters, you are journalists.
I was robbed.
Well,
So I wanted to touch.
2023.
Just last year.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you fall into one of the, very minute percentage that we
Which
get.
takes me to my next question about the minute percentage.
Yeah.
The governance in and of itself in democracy is all about the grassroots, right? And the very dividends of what it is that it trickles down to everyone on the road, right? One of the key indicators that you said in the improvement of this government and this contribution was the COVID-19. But that was 4 years ago. This is 2024. Between 2023 and 2024, 1 year in office. What we've seen is a ballooned case of homelessness, of people on the streets. There's a number of people that I've seen on the streets. There's also seen a situation where the touts that Mazzino just pointed out have now been more emboldened. And so those minute attacks that you see is every day. Snatching of phones, people robbing off shops and doing all of that we see that sometimes even slip through our fingers that we in the media cannot be able to report. What is the Lagos State neighboring force, the that was
safety
created,
corps,
the safety corps. What are they doing?
Okay.
That's one. And then two, the street lights are not on. The street lights are not on. If I was driving from the office going through the Ikorodu Road, when you're driving all the way down to Stadium and all the way down to where I live, it was not on.
Okay.
In fact, under the Ojuelegba Bridge, the Costain Bridge, going down, Ojuelegba Ikbori, which is the underbridge there, all the way down to Costain, that entire stretch used to have floodlights from Ojuelegba. There's the Stadium, there's Ikbori, and they used to have floodlights.
That's
gone.
Okay. So the first one, I already told you, the causative reason for the high number of people. We are a victim of our development. People keep coming, and this is a subnational under federal government. We cannot, mount the toll gate at the border, of Lagos. We can't say, you have to have a visa before you come to Lagos. Although we're doing a lot to try through our LASRA registration agency and all that, we're trying to want to know who comes into Lagos, who the residents of Lagos are. Now, again, neighborhood watch people, they're doing a lot in terms of gathering of intelligence. You do not want to imagine what the government is doing to reduce the insecurity level that would have actually ballooned, to use your word, in Lagos State. And considering the amount of people that we're dealing with, you think the people, those guys want to let you sleep? No, they don't want us to sleep. They don't want you and I to sleep because, again, they are people of no means address, and we cannot. Just recently, we had an issue of people, being returned to their home state. Of course, the media, cried out, this is human rights abuse against the state and all of that. So we're also being very careful as to the kind of things that we will do. If not because of that, if we are allowed to deport, why not? The issue of deportation would have just been an option, but we cannot because we are under the federal government of Nigeria, and anybody that's a Nigerian, has the liberty to come and live in Lagos. Now, where do they live? We don't know. Recently, our Minister of Environment, and they're doing a whole lot, our Minister of the Environment in Lagos State, I was shocked to my bone marrow to discover that people, are living under the bridge, as in, like a residential apartment under the bridge. So we're doing a lot, and, we continue to, it's a work in progress. And I can assure you that, we will get there. So to talk about this, the streetlight issues, it's, we're working on it. If you, move around, there used to be darkness around, 3MB before, but today, we have light there. The current administration, what we met on ground, we realized that it is not sustainable. So what the Ministry of Energy is doing, we tinkered with retrofitting, and now we're, looking, at introducing the one.
Retrofitting is the word, because only just yesterday across the Apapa Oshodi Expressway, I saw that the lights were being fitted.
The lights, yes. So they're going to get to that area.
I really hope they do, because it's when you drive under the bridge in Maryland as well.
Yeah. So that's
really dark.
I know, and that's why he can confirm from his own area, from my area now. I know that they're there. So it's moving.
But there's one more thing, sir.
You understand?
There's one more thing that's very pertinent.
Housing deficit, sorry.
Let's talk about what everybody has been talking about inside of Lagos for the past 2 or 3 months. The current spate of demolitions that have been going on.
Okay.
People are being rendered homeless. These are the same people that actually voted into office, the current governor, who will testify to the fact that they had these campaigners come in and said, we're going to do this and this and this for you. And they said, fine, we're going to vote for the governor. And months after, or maybe a year after, boom, they're homeless.
They started demolishing.
We have the situation of
Maryland.
The Maryland
Yes,
issue, which was one of the most recent ones.
Yeah.
And then there's the
Lekki
one, and onward like so.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Exactly when it comes to campaign promises and accomplishing what you promised the people, how has the governor fared, and why are there these pockets, not pockets, but these very, very plenty instances of people being rendered homeless with the deficit that we're
so I'm gonna throw it back to you. Do you like for bridges to be constructed, around the state, for easy passage, easy movements? So you do. But do you like the bridge to pass in front of your house? The answer I get most of the time is no. We love bridges, but nobody wants the bridge to pass, to be constructed in front of his house, right? Now, we must take very hard decisions. Do you want a good state where we will live sustainably, where environmental challenges will not be our portion? You saw what happened in Dubai recently. You reported it. Flood took over the entire city of Dubai. You saw what happened in London last year. You saw what happened in Kenya, Nairobi. Now, you saw what used to happen in Lekki. There was heavy downpour this morning. You saw what used to happen in Lekki. Look, make no mistake. We used to experience, those, heavy flooding as a result of flagrant disobedience to construction, law. How can you go and build
on wetland?
How can you go and build on drainage channel when you know that the water will flow through here to the Atlantic?
But they're agents and they're councils that are in charge of this.
So that's
how does it slip through the cracks?
So that's what we hear. And the Honorable Commissioner for the Environment, Tokunbo Wahab, has been doing a yeoman's job here. And he has a background in law. He's a lawyer. So, and that's why nobody has been able to hold him, by the jugular, because he ensures that he follows the due process, right? Now, the enforcement agents who gave you the permission, who gave you the permit, who gave you the papers, where are the papers? Where are your documents? Most of the time, nobody can come forward with anything. Look, don't forget we are Nigerians. We are all brothers and sisters.
I hear you.
A lot of people just enjoy. Don't worry. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to do anything.
For the most part, sir, everything that you have said is rather correct. You mentioned due process.
Yeah.
And that is very, very critical. In terms of due process, these people were sold their properties and they felt that they were following due process. They went to the state, they asked for papers and all that.
No,
they don't. They claim.
They don't.
Now, regarding that,
it's a claim, and we now ask them, bring them out.
I agree with you, sir.
And they brought
No.
Hang on a second, sir.
No.
Hang on a second.
No,
but
none
that's
of
not
them.
where I'm going. Where I'm going is regarding due process when it comes to the demolitions.
Yeah.
When it comes to the notice being served to these people,
Yeah.
that's also supposed to be due process.
Okay.
Are they served these notices in
Very
time for
much,
them to
very
actually
much.
make
You see,
arrangements?
I'm a product of the media. I know the kind of sentiment that, is usually generated. I reported for over, 18 years. I was a reporter. So I know the kind of sentiment when I put microphone in front of the people and my camera is recording. But the sentiment is actually the truth. By the time you now do a deep dive into it, you find out that this person was just, telling you a lie. You understand? No, you would have cried.
So you're saying that what they were saying is a lie, that the residents...
No. So the state government usually will serve notices. Fortunately, I told you that, Mr. Tokunbo Wahab would do things according to the law. Now, even, in most cases, hold meetings with them that I am coming, go and rectify or regulate or do this or that. I don't work, in his office. But we see the report because it sends to us that we have done this and that. Most of the time, these people don't comply. And by the time government comes, he has a job to do. You understand? By the time government now comes, of course, it will generate media interest, human rights interest, and all of that. I tell you what, if you are wrongly dealt with by the government, you have a right to go to court. I'm sure you know.
Of course.
You have a right to take the state
It's under
to
the
court.
ambit of them.
But they can't because they know that they are wrong. Do you understand now? They know they are wrong.
So
Otherwise, they could have, maybe sought legal backing or something. You cannot. See, you can't block the right of ways. And yet you expect, development to come to the state.
So what you're saying now, just to be clear, in clear terms, you're saying that what they're saying is a lie. They were on the right of way. The right of way did not change, and they can take it to court.
Of course.
All right.
You can do that. Now you are talking about, I won't miss that. We do not make people homeless. You see, we are here to serve the people of the state. Now, we've done a whole lot in the area of housing. In fact, without sounding immodest, the current administration has injected more housing units than any previous administrations in Lagos State. You can fact check me on this, right? Now, since
But the
we came on
argument about those housing units are that the common man doesn't have access to it.
And that's
the argument by many Lagosians.
But you are a media person. You can fact check this.
Fact check, which is the reason why I'm telling you this. The sentiments that we have seen from Lagosians is that when this housing deficit, when these houses or units are built, it's either it's overpriced, or it's only for it's politicized.
No.
That's what they say.
No. That's not true.
So how did we can go back to the 70s and look at the houses that was created in Festac as well. Those were low-level ranking. So they were low-cost houses. They had the high ones and the low ones, and junior civil servants had access to those homes as well. I know people in my personal life who grew up in Festac. There's also the Jakonde. There's also houses in Surulere as well, which is the Bonri estate and the rest. They were all low-cost houses. But that has changed over time with Lagosians saying that either they don't have access or it is politicized or nepotism plays into it, that they're not able to get it. What would you say to that?
I don't know where you got the word nepotism here. Judith, I don't understand. Okay, so let me tell you. I'm also going to throw it back to you. When you talk about low-cost housing, is there low-cost cement? Is there low-cost, blocks? Are there low-cost iron rods? Are there low-cost sand? You still have to sell based on the current value that you used in building, right? So if you construct at the rate of 10 million naira, government does not have business in business. If it is constructed at the rate of 10 million naira, maybe some administrative charges will just be added. It probably will come to like 10 point something million naira or 11 million naira because government is not interested in making money. You understand? So people who can't afford it will still say, oh, it's out of the reach of the common man. But then, this is how much it cost us to build these units. You understand? And we can't go below this same amount, to put it. But then, what has government done? Because government realizes that government, now, became creative and said, okay, you can do rent to own. For example, Judith, if you want to buy our housing, one of our units, you don't necessarily have to bring the one that costs 18 million. You don't necessarily have to bring 18 million naira. Government will tell you, look for 30% of the entire money. You work, you have a means of livelihood. You can seek, cooperative loan or loan from the office, pay 30%, get your allocation, move into the house, and then you begin to spread the payment, as it suits you or based on the agreement. So we're doing a lot to make you people smile.
Well,
then transportation. You've not talked about our.
We wish we could.
We wish we could.
I must talk about it.
Real quick.
Go ahead,
Our red
go ahead.
Very
line,
quickly.
our red line and our blue line, train. They are the game changers.
But the residents in Badagry, it's...
The
residents in Badagry...
No, I don't understand. Residents in Badagry.
They can't...
The second phase of the blue line, do you know it has started?
When will it end?
When will it end?
It took
That's
10
what-
years.
It took
Excuse
10
me.
years.
No.
I mean,
It started.
government is continuum. Yes.
Now we inherited it, right? And we ensured that we completed it. And immediately we moved to site to start the second phase. Now, what about the red line? It was started within our government, within the lifespan of our government, and we completed it.
Mr. Kosile, I want to say...
No. I mean, are you controverting what I'm saying?
Mr. Kosile, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Media training is exceptional. Thank you very much.
I don't like the smile on our face. No, seriously, that smile is mischievous.
Mr. Gwega Akosile is the SA to the Governor on Media. We would like to thank you very much.
Thank you
That
so
was a
much, sir,
very
for coming.
engaging
Thank you.
session we just had there.
Thank you for making our time this Sunday.